What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Excuse me, because it is draft night in the NHL and my favorite team has the number one pick, and there are rumors about trading one of their defensemen. So it's going to be a heavy day of Twitter refreshing, but I had to come on and talk some New York Jets with you and wanted to talk about the UDFA, who I think has the best chance to make this Jets team this summer. In a recent article, Rich Cimini suggested Jamaal Pritchett as a name to watch during training camp. That was also something that I talked about during minicamp at the end of minicamp. And here's the quote. After Garrett Wilson, the Jets receiving core is relatively wide open and competitive. The next tier consists of Josh Reynolds, Allen Lazard, Xavier Gibson, and Tyler Johnson, with Corley and fourth-round pick Arian Smith. In the next group, Jamaal Pritchett, an undrafted rookie from South Alabama, impressed in the spring and could push for a spot. Typically, teams keep 5 or 6 receivers on its 53-man roster. I think it's probably pretty likely that they keep 6 wide receivers. Sometimes the Jets have gone to 7. I believe it was 2 years ago when they kept both Xavier Gibson and Brownlee. They kept 7 wide receivers, but right now, I think there are 5 pretty obvious choices. Garrett Wilson, Josh Reynolds, Allen Lazard, Arian Smith, and Tyler Johnson will be 5 wide receivers who make the New York Jets. It really comes down to that final spot. And is it going to be Malachi Corley, Xavier Gibson, or Jamaal Pritchett? And I think you can make a strong case for Jamaal Pritchett being that last wide receiver in. And a big reason has to do with his special teams play. I mean, he had a nice year in college last year, 91 receptions, over 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns, but his value comes as a returner. In his career, he has 1 punt return for a touchdown and is averaging 14.7 yards per punt return over the 3 years. He only has a couple kickoff returns. I think Kene Nwanu, or however you pronounce his last name, it's Nwanu, I believe, who I think is going to make their team as the returner on kickoffs. But for punt returner, the Jets have a gaping hole. And, unfortunately, Xavier Gibson's a fringe roster player. He's done a poor job on the punt returns outside of one of his first ever in the NFL, the opening game 2 years ago in 2023. To end the game in overtime. That's the biggest moment of his career, and it was an awesome one. It really was. Just didn't really do all that much following in 2023 as a returner, and then last year also wasn't very good. So they're looking for a new punt returner, and so if you're taking Xavier Gibson out because doesn't give you a lot as a wide receiver, not a very good punt returner, comes down to Malachi Corley and Jamaal Pritchett. And yeah, Corley was a draft pick. I've mentioned before, though, he was not drafted by this regime. They don't have any ties to him. And Malachi Corley doesn't play on special teams for whatever reason. I don't know I can't give you the definitive answer. He hasn't been utilized as a either punt or kick returner at the NFL level or in college. So this is not a new thing. I don't know if it's the Jets don't think he can do it, or Malachi Corley doesn't want to do it and doesn't, just wants to be a standard wide receiver. Whatever the case is, again, I don't know, so I'm not going to speculate on it, but the Jets have not used him and haven't shown any signs of potentially using him as a returner. So I, again, kind of find it hard to believe that that's going to be the route that they go. So when you factor in special teams, and I know it's not the most beautiful thing that we talk about in this game. You like to talk about high-end wide receivers and the Garrett Wilsons of the world, and I love Garrett, but special teams is important. And if Corley's going to be essentially your 5th or 6th receiver and not give you anything on special teams, he's going to have a hard time making the roster. That was the same conversations that we were having about Denzel Mims a couple years ago, was because he didn't do anything on special teams, and it's hard to find fringe roster spots for guys who don't play or don't give you anything on specials. So anyway, let me know what you think. I think Jamaal Pritchett has a good chance to make this Jets team as one of the UDFAs. Let me know your thoughts. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.